Hello and welcome back to Superhero Maniac, your one-stop destination for all the superhero updates from across the world. Phase 4 of Marvel Cinematic Universe is not going as planned. With so many disappointments we've been saying for the past couple of months, now Taika Waititi has added salt to the injuries with Thor Love and Thunder. I sensed this disappointment by just watching the trailer and short clips and made a video about how this movie is going to disappoint, and everything I said was true. If you wanna check that video out, the link will be in the description. Without any further ado, here are my opinions on everything wrong in this movie. Let's dive in. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the lack of character development in this movie. We can't really talk about every single character, but let's look into Gorr's character development. All we see is him struggling at life, losing his daughter, killing a god, and boom, he's the God Butcher. We don't get to see anything about his journey from the guy who just picked up a god-killing weapon towards the God Butcher, or how much he has deviated from his own personality throughout that period. Same goes with Jane Foster, who's dying from cancer one moment and in the next moment she's the mighty Thor kicking butts. In short, the character development was terrible in this movie. The next point is not just for this movie but the whole MCU itself, and that is what the hell are the gods doing? The gods in the MCU have no impact on their people. They just came into existence to chill, just like Rapu, who was Gorr's god and gave zero fucks about his people. Technically, there's no god in the MCU who actually cares about the people they're supposed to look after. Okay Thor, don't look at me like that. You've been terrible at your job as well. And that brings us to our next point, which is as hilarious as it is absurd. How Thor just went completely nuts and killed Zeus, a god, to stop Gorr from killing gods. Okay, let me say that again. Thor killed a god to stop Gorr from killing other gods. I don't even know what they were thinking when they decided to do something like that, cause this concept is total bullcrap. Another thing that makes no sense is the role of Sif in this movie. She gets barely a minute of screen time with Thor, and during that time, a god was lying dead right next to them, with Gorr out there butchering other gods, and Thor and Sif were cracking jokes at times like this. The unnecessary comedy throughout this movie ruined the whole experience and purpose of this film. The next point is probably the most important one because it's about the antagonist of this movie, Gorr. They destroyed the character of Gorr the God Butcher in not just one but many ways. First, there was no character development of Gorr, which we've already discussed, so I'm not gonna go over it again. Second, they turned Gorr the God Butcher into a child abductor. Like, what was the point of doing that? The guy who kills gods for fun is now abducting children. Yikes. Third, there was no element of darkness in this Gorr. Even I can call myself the God Butcher. But that alone doesn't make me scary, and that's the problem with this Gorr. There's no darkness in him other than his creepy laughs, which makes me wonder if that's Gorr or the Joker. Gorr is not supposed to be making jokes and laughs and giggles. Fourth, we didn't see Gorr killing any other gods other than his own god Rapu. There is no visual information on how he did it, cause every god he has killed in this movie is different with different attributes, and we didn't get to see him kill anyone else in the entire movie. So much for the God Butcher. Now let's talk about the god butchering weapon, the Necrosword. They changed it almost completely from the comics and ruined it. First, they made it a literal weapon made up of some metal, which got broken after being struck by another metal. That alone is the worst thing they did with Necrosword. Such a powerful weapon with so much potential is introduced and destroyed in the same movie without any proper introduction to its origin. And I don't think we're gonna see Null, who is the original creator of Necrosword, ever in the MCU. Cause everything about this MCU Necrosword seems just out of context from the comics. Coming to the next point, the recent MCU movies have been showing too much sympathy to the villains. The villains are getting more love and attention than the heroes do. Like Gorr here, everyone is loving the ending of Gorr, but honestly it's not good at all, and it shows just how bad the moral plots are becoming. Speaking of bad plots, did you guys notice how in the recent MCU movies, the protagonists haven't been able to kill the villains? In Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man couldn't kill anyone, and Doctor Strange had to send all the bad guys home. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange couldn't defeat Wanda and she just killed herself. And here again, Gorr just dies cause the Necrosword broke. We're getting a PG-13 vibe from all these movies, and the roles of the superheroes are becoming limited by these boring plots. Lastly, there is Eternity, the physical embodiment of time. We saw Eternity in the ending scene of the movie, but what's the deal here? Is Eternity just a wishing well or a genie in the MCU? Because he didn't speak or do anything. He was just there to grant a wish, and I have no idea what they're planning to do with that, cause it's all so messed up already. So this was my personal opinion on everything that went wrong with Thor Love and Thunder. If you agree with me, hit that like button and comment down your opinions on the movie and subscribe for more such superhero content. Till then, signing off.